Yeah, I chose one hell of a movie to do for my first video. Like, where do I even start with this movie? I guess I could just start maybe at the magical black person trope, which is a trope in movies where the black person has magical powers and they use it to help. Oh, wait, what? They actually have a card at the beginning of the movie that actually explains what this trope is. We'll just put that in instead, I guess. And you know what? I think if you have to start your movie with an exposition card like this to tell you basically, give you a definition on the whole concept of what the movie is about, then your movie does not have a proper target audience. Because this movie is not made for black people. I know. I watched it 3 times, okay? And it's definitely not made for white people. I mean, I hope it's not made for white people because I don't know a single white person that would watch this and even feel like remotely good. They would be confused. I think they would be confused. They would be very confused on what message this movie is trying to tell people. Because I know I was freaking confused on the message it was trying to get across. And yet, for some reason, somebody decided to make this movie and thought it was a good idea, and everybody around them also thought it was a good idea, which tells me that that person has no real friends. Because if you have friends, at least one good friend, they're gonna stop you and tell you this is a dumb idea, bro. Abort mission at all costs. Like the Spark Notes version of the movie is basically Aaron, our protagonist, gets inducted into the American Society of Magical Negroes, an organization that has magical powers based solely on their blackness, and they have to use these powers in order to help white people. Aaron gets his first client named Jason. Jason and Aaron end up liking the same girl. Now, because Jason also becomes attracted to Lizzie, Aaron can no longer date Lizzie because he has to keep his white client happy. Otherwise, if he doesn't, every single person in the American Society of Magical Negroes will lose their magical Negro powers. Which is just completely ridiculous writing it down on paper and saying it out loud. That just sounds asinine. Asinine is probably the nicest word I could use. So yeah, I guess if you're still with me for whatever reason, let's go ahead and break this shit down because I watched this movie two and a half times, technically 3 times because I had to skim through it again as I wrote down a little script and notes for this movie. So technically, I watched this movie 3 times, and I need someone else to suffer with it, suffer with me through it. All right, so our movie starts with, oh no, my cat's throwing up a hairball. BRB. Okay, so our movie starts with Aaron, our protagonist, at a art museum event thingamabobber, trying to sell his artwork, which is yarn statues, yarn sculptures. He calls them yarn sculptures. It's definitely not a sculpture. It's basically just a piece of string with yarn, kind of just hanging, dangling off it. So that's what he's trying to sell, basically. But he, like his art, is really bad at selling himself and the art. So the event curator or the director, whoever this woman is, basically comes up to him and scolds him for not being able to sell his art. So at the end of the day, the curator lady basically tells him that he's fired from the event because he can't sell anything and he doesn't even have the backbone to, promote himself to potential clients. While this is all happening, in the background, we have Roger, our Black Dumbledore for the movie, who is at the event, I'm assuming undercover as a bartender or a waiter for the event. And so he hears this whole exchange between the curator and Aaron. And I guess for whatever reason, he decides that Aaron seems like he would be a good new member for the American Society of Magical Negroes. And going forward, I'm probably only going to use Negroes when and where I have to because the word is just so obsolete and outdated. Like nobody really uses Negroes in like the setting, in the context that these people use it. They use it so commonly, and I'm like, I don't know a single black person that just be using Negro like that. Like it's just like it's like a word from like the 19. I don't even know, probably the 1800s. I don't know. So I'll be using black person where and when needed, and then Negro only if it's like important to the context of the scene. Now on his walk home, Aaron runs into a drunk woman trying to use an ATM. She's clearly too drunk to figure out how to use it. I think, if I remember correctly, she's looking for her bank card, but her bank card is already in the card. Her bank card is already in the machine, And so she gives her purse to Aaron and says, "Can you help me look for my bank card?" So now Aaron is standing with this drunk woman holding her purse. And this is where her boyfriend and his friend turn the corner, who are, I assume, are probably also drunk or drinking for the night. And obviously they assume that Aaron is trying to rob the girl from her purse. The boyfriend proceeds to rush Aaron to beat his ass, and this is where Roger steps in, basically uses magical powers to teleport the purse from Aaron's hand back into the girl's hand and diffuse the whole situation. This is something that happens a couple times in the movie. Basically, somebody uses magic to either move an object from one place to another, or to basically spawn a whole new object into reality in a room full of people, and no one seems to notice. And anyone who does kind of seem to notice, that's like close by in the vicinity, they kind of just give it like a, huh, I could have swore that was not there before. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because the movie does not use magic that often, which is ironic considering the name of the movie. Magic is used like, I think 5 times, maybe 6 in the entire movie, and it's the same spell. It's just teleporting or making things spawn out of thin air. Now, after saving his ass, Roger invites Aaron out for a drink at a nearby pub. And while there, he starts explaining the whole American Society of Magical Negroes to him. And I shit you not, during this explanation, he says to Aaron, "I'm kind of freaking saving the world out here." Which leads me to question, how are you saving the world, sir, when you are the American Society of Magical Negroes? You're not even the worldwide Society of Magical Negroes. So how are you saving the world? I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of movies logic, saving America equates to saving the world. So, hashtag freedom. Now, after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Whiteness explains to Aaron the whole magical society thing, he then teleports both of them to a barbershop, which acts as a secret entranceway into the society's headquarters slash academy thing. I'm not really sure what to call this place, but we'll just call it the headquarters for now. Aaron is literally thrown into a recruitment class within an hour of even learning this place exists. Now, this is where we get what I consider to be one of the better Easter eggs and jokes that they do in the movie. So basically, the lecturer of the class is showing the recruits like past magical things that other magical black people have done in society. And so she's using these magical candles that, when burned, basically the smoke turns into like a TV screen to show you what happened at that time. So she's burning one of these candles, and it's basically one big spoof on the Green Mile scene where Tom Hanks is being cured of his erectile dysfunction when Michael Clark Duncan grabs him by the pussy. Now, funny Easter egg aside, considering how MCD's character ended up in that movie, I don't think his magical powers saved his life that much. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe a movie for a movie for a different video. Oh yeah, and this fucking whiteboard makes me mad every single time I've watched the movie. Basically, the lecturer throws some chalk powder at the whiteboard and words appear on it. She throws chalk at the board, words come up on it. We get this fucking Venn diagram. A Venn diagram has never made me so mad in my entire life, but this Venn diagram I have a personal beef with, all right? On this Venn diagram, it's basically telling the recruits how they need to act for and around their clients. And we get, obviously, the section that says authentically black, Venn diagrammed with acceptable to whites. Who is this movie for? Because this is what I was saying at the beginning, where it's like, it's definitely not for black people, because I don't know a single black person who would like find that funny, or even like, not even funny. They wouldn't even find it impactful. Like, it's not like it's like some like deep social commentary, you know what I mean? That's just like the most obnoxious, lowest hanging fruit ever in terms of, I guess, black jokes. And then for white people, how are they supposed to, like, what are they supposed to feel about that? Are they supposed to feel like enlightened? Because they're definitely not. The delivery the delivery in this movie is what makes everything so freaking bad. The delivery and the writing, specifically the dialogue for the writing, because it just doesn't make any sense. For black people, it's extremely tone deaf and just pandering to the lowest common denominator. A phrase I never thought I would use unironically. And for white people, it is just confusing. It's just really confusing. Now, after that god awful scene in the classroom, Roger takes Aaron out for a practical lesson on magic and the dangers of white discomfort in America. And this is where we get the white tears meter. Teleporting himself and Aaron to an undisclosed location, Roger goes on a spiel about white people and the dangers of their discomfort. And so basically, the long short of the whole thing is that the American Society of Magical Negroes is the vanguard against white discomfort in America in order to shield brothers from the repercussions of white uncomfortability. Yeah, I had to read that word for word, quote for quote, off the screen here because I wanted to make sure I got that. Roger also literally says, and I quote, the happier they are, the safer we are. Y'all, I don't even think we're 20 minutes into the movie yet, and I wanted to turn this shit off so hard. I just, I was like embarrassed for the people who made this movie. Now, after this, Roger takes Aaron literally around the corner where they see a cop standing on the sidewalk right beside his car looking at a movie poster. And this is where the white tears meter pops up, showing us that the cop is close to dangerous levels of discomfort. And then we get a little voice-over exposition from the classroom lecturer about how the society keeps track of all of the discomfort levels of white Americans. And when someone's discomfort meter goes too high, they become a client for the society. At that point, they will be assigned a magical black person to enter their lives magically and find out what's wrong with it and use their magical powers to make the white person happy so that they don't do something racist and dangerous. The movie is a fucking mess, I'm gonna tell you what. Like, I'm pretty sure this movie was written by a terminally online social justice warrior with the self-awareness of a peanut. In Praise of Shadows, is that you? Roger basically starts the example by, using his magical powers to get into like a friendly conversation with the cop. And by the end of the conversation with the cop, Roger invites him out to a club that very same night with Aaron and Roger. Jumping instantly over to the culmination of this scene where we see Roger and Aaron outside the nightclub waiting for the cop to show up. And this is where Aaron says what 99% of audience members, so probably like 2 people, are probably thinking at this point in the movie.
Look, Roger, for me, I don't think that keeping white people happy is as big a deal as you're saying it is.
And do you know how Roger responds to this? By asking Aaron why he's so nice. And then he follows that up with literally word for word, because white people will kill you.
Oh yeah? Why are you so nice?
Because I'm friendly.
Because white people will kill you.
Okay.
And then immediately after that, Roger tells Aaron that he is blocking the way of a white guy, and Aaron turns around to apologize, and Roger uses this as some type of fucked up aha moment, as if apologizing to being in someone's way is like wrong. I'm pretty sure Aaron would have turned around and said sorry to whoever was behind him, because he just is that type of person. He's very shy and meek, and he's apologetic, but also that's just a normal human response if you're in someone's way. Also, maybe he's just Canadian. Maybe he just apologizes a lot. Now, as if this scene couldn't get any worse, like this scene is just like compounded with shit. It's like 20 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. As if the scene couldn't get any worse. Roger tells Aaron to go walk up to a random group of people, of course white people. And when Aaron doesn't want to do it, he says, why? Is it because you're scared of white people? Now, at this point, the cop finally shows up, and then Aaron uses his magic to convince the bartender, or the bouncer, convince the bouncer that they are on the guest list and that all 3 of them should get in. Now, I question, how the hell do magic powers work in this movie? Because Aaron has been at the society for like a total of 12 hours now. And that actually kind of made me realize something else here. There is a pretty big continuity issue here. So follow me real quick for this tangent. When Roger brought Aaron to the society that first night, that was the same night he got canned from the art show, okay? Let's say that was probably around 12 in the morning to 2 in the morning, because he runs into the drunk couple, so they're obviously out drinking on the night, a night on the town, and bars are still serving alcohol and food, so it must obviously be late enough to drink, early enough for things are still open. And then after that class, that recruitment class that Aaron takes, he goes and talks to Roger and tells him that he's not interested in joining the American Society of Magical Negroes. That is when Roger teleports them both to that cop scene. That cop scene happens midday, like maybe like 12 p.m., 1 in the afternoon. And then that same night, because Roger says, do you want to come over with us tonight to this event? They're out at the club that same night, which means Aaron has basically been up from the night before in the museum all the way to this night now at the club event. And to kind of prove this even more, he's wearing the exact same outfit that he'd been wearing at the museum, at the pub, at the school, at the cop interaction in the middle of the day, and he's now wearing the same outfit here at the club. So am I to assume he's been awake for over 24 hours at this point? What? Back to the original point. Yeah, I don't know how magic works in this movie. Nobody knows how it works because it's never explained. But Aaron just all of a sudden knows how to use his magic and is able to charm the bouncer, which I don't understand how, if he's only been to one recruitment class. It just does not make sense. You just magically get the powers once you learn about the society. Now, at this point, we get the scene of Aaron being officially inducted? Yeah. Now, at this point, we get the official scene of Aaron being inducted into the society. And I honestly think these are probably some of the worst scenes in the movie. Not because of anything Aaron does, but mainly because of Nicole Byer. She plays the president of the society, but her scenes are so satirical that they do not seem like they're part of this movie. Like, this movie is supposed to be a comedy, yes, but her scenes feel more like they're part of a slapsticky comedy. Like, the way she delivers her lines in this movie is like she is still on the set of Nailed It, and she's supposed to have that really hammy kind of game show host line delivery, and it just really does not work for this movie.
Do we seem like gods to you, Aaron?
And the worst part is she has three of these, maybe four if I remember correctly, but she has 3 or 4 of these whole like talking to the society scenes, and they're all just really freaking bad. Also, the scene here where she's floating, awful VFX, awful visual effects. Like, she literally just looks like she's hanging on a wire, which she is, but it shouldn't look like that. And this kind of leads me to believe that this movie either A, wasn't going to be a magical rom-com, it was going to be a regular rom-com, and they decided to tack this weird social commentary on for whatever reason. Or 2, they massively underestimated the VFX budget that they had and would need to make good magic, because there's literally no magic in this movie, folks. Now, after becoming an official member of the society, Aaron gets his first solo client, which is Jason, a programmer slash designer working for the movie's ripoff of Facebook called Meatbox. Meatbox, as in like meat people and box, you know, like box. We all know what boxes are. The society is able to get Aaron a job at Meatbox working under Jason. And so before he goes to get his briefing on this new client, Aaron is seen grabbing a coffee at this coffee shop. And we get this ridiculous scene of him holding the door open for one person, and then 8 other, of course, white people walk out of the coffee shop, which is just a ridiculous scene because, first of all, why are 8 people leaving the coffee shop at once? I've been in very packed coffee shops, okay? Maybe like 3, 4 people are leaving all at once, not 8 people all leaving at one time. This is like, what? It's like a freaking one of those clown car scenes. This is just some stupid lazy way of, again, hammering home the point that Aaron is too white. It's too white. It's too nice to white people. He's just too nice to everybody, to be honest. Like, I don't think. Anyways. Now, this is where Aaron meets the love interest of the movie, Lizzie, and I freaking love these two. These two make the movie bearable. Their scenes together are really cute. They're really genuine. They feel real. They feel like real interactions that real people have or would have, and they make the movie so much better than the steaming pile of shit that it is. Aaron bumps into Lizzie, spilling her coffee on her, and then he offers to buy her a new one. Now, while they're standing in line, Aaron is looking at Lizzie up and down, very obviously, and Lizzie notices, and then Aaron notices that Lizzie notices, and then he starts to go on a little apology about saying, I wasn't checking you out, I was just looking for coffee. And then instantly after he says that, he realizes that that kind of sounds like an insult, because the way he said it was, I would never check you out. And I guess he, in his mind, he was like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean you're not attractive enough to check out. I just wasn't doing that. I would do that, but in a checkout appropriatable situation. Now, I really like this whole scene. Like, this sounds and feels like a very realistic thing that two normally adjusted people would have happened to them. You know, you spill something on someone that you find attractive or that is attractive, and then you offer to buy them a new one in the line. You're looking to make sure they're not spilled on, like they don't have coffee spilled all over them, and they notice, and then, you know, maybe you say, hey, I'm not, you know what I mean? The whole scene seems very realistic and very genuine. Now, I think my favorite part of this whole scene is after Aaron's whole apology, Lizzie basically says, you know what? I don't believe you. If you weren't checking me out, how would you know if I was pretty? And then Aaron replies to this with what may be the best thing a man could say in this scenario.
No, I said that you were beautiful.
Boom. Riz fucking master. Leave some for the rest of us. You're gonna drink up all the Riz and we're not gonna have none. Now the scene ends with another really cute interaction with the two when Aaron notices Lizzie looking him up and down, and he goes, oh, do I have any coffee on me? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I'm just looking at that ass. Let's go. Let's go. Like, that instantly sets the mood for these two's relationship. It instantly also tells you the type of person Lizzie is. It's such a good scene. Like, this right here, I want a whole movie of this, not whatever all of this is that they added on to this, because goddamn. All right, so at this point, Aaron is getting his briefing on his new client, Jason, and this is where we get probably one of the most ridiculous terminologies I have ever seen in this movie.
His meter jumped dangerously high Tuesday, 4 p.m. He was so upset we considered sending in a team of rapid response Negroes, but they...
Rapid response Negroes. RRN, as I like to abbreviate. No, but seriously, what? What? Do you know what this movie reads like? This movie, I'm just realizing it. This movie reads like a fake movie you would see in the Boondocks. This is literally like Grandad is watching freaking this movie on the TV, and Huey walks in and he's like, Grandpa, why are you watching this? This is so degrading to, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah in America. And then Riley will walk in and go, man, Grandpa, that shit's whack. Why are you watching that for? In less less PG-13 language. But yeah, our next scene has Aaron being oriented at Meatbox, the company, and this is where he basically spawns a whole magical computer out of thin air, while the manager who's orientating him around the office is standing right beside him, and Jason, his client, is sitting right beside her, and the computer he spawned is basically in between the two of the other people that don't have magical powers. And Jason doesn't even react. And the manager goes, huh, and walks off. Also, there's like 20 other people in this office room, broad daylight. What? All right, now the scene after this is almost as confusing. So, Jason and Aaron are getting to know each other better while playing foosball in one of the office lounge rooms. Lizzie comes up, and this is where Aaron and Lizzie see each other at the office for the first time and realize that they work together now. Jason can sense that there's like some kind of recognition between the two, but they don't ever address it. Like, they literally just say, oh no, we're just meeting now for the first time. And this doesn't really make sense, because at this point in the movie, Jason doesn't have any romantic interest to Lizzie. Lizzie has no reason to believe that she does. Aaron has no reason to believe that he does either. And there is nothing to insinuate that Jason and Lizzie are a thing in the office. So why do Lizzie and Jason, or why does Lizzie and Aaron not just say, yeah, we met at the coffee shop this morning or yesterday morning or whenever? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't passionately making out on the freaking coffee shop counter. Like, they literally just had a cute little moment. And even if that they did passionately make out of the coffee shop, you don't have to add that into your explanation. Just say, yeah, I ran into this person earlier today. Boom, that's it, done. Now, from here on out, Lizzie and Aaron start spending more time together, obviously, because now they work together. So they start spending more time together to get to know each other. And this is where Aaron plants the seed into Jason's mind that he should probably date Lizzie. Basically, Aaron is gushing about Lizzie and all of her great qualities and how she's a great designer, all this, all that. Aaron notices that Jason kind of gets a little bit annoyed when Aaron calls Lizzie a great designer, and he tries to kind of give Jason an ego boost by saying, oh, you're also a great designer. That's what I'm hearing around the office as well. And he goes on to say that he goes on to say that Jason and Lizzie are kind of like the power couple of the office, but like in a platonic way. And for whatever reason, this makes Jason like a light bulb go off in his head, like, oh, power couple, yeah, maybe we are. We then get more of this movie's odd satirical scenes when we get a scene where the Meatbox CEO, Mick, is addressing the company in some scandal regarding the new algorithm they put out and how it favors white people over non-white people. And a lot like Nicole Byer's scenes, these scenes just don't feel like they belong in this movie. They just seem way too slapsticky. They seem way too like these scenes make it seem like it's really trying to like make fun of office culture, social media culture, CEOs fakeness. Like it just seems like it's really hamming on the satire here. And I mean the rest of the movie doesn't really feel too satirical. It just kind of feels like it's trying to make a joke, a social commentary joke, but it's failing every time. And these scenes with Nicole Byer and this CEO character just really fall short of what the movie's tone is. Now, at this point in the movie, Jason has made his interest in Lizzie known to Aaron, and Roger then tells Aaron that he can no longer pursue Lizzie because, well, you got to keep your client happy because if you don't, we'll all lose our powers. And that kind of just made me think of a hypothetical situation. Like, what if you were married to someone? You're already in a relationship with this person, and your client wants to date your girlfriend or your boyfriend, your partner. Uh, like, are you supposed to divorce them? Are you supposed to break up with them so that your white client? Because how does that work? Because if you don't please your client, you're gonna lose your powers. You, not even just you, the whole American Society of Magical Negroes will lose their powers. Did no one think about this loophole when they were making the stupid romantic tension for this movie? Also, what if, okay, you have two white people who want to be together, or you have two white people, one of them wants to date the other one, but this one doesn't want to date this one. So now, if you make this one date this one, her white tears meter is going to go up and his is going to go down. But if you don't make them date each other, this one's white tears meter is going to go up and this one is going to go down. I mean, I guess you could try to find a way where you get this person to like a different person, but like, why couldn't Aaron just do that with Jason? Like, he could have just pivoted from Lizzie to someone else that Jason was actually compatible with, because Jason and Lizzie are not even compatible. Because soon after Jason tries to pursue Lizzie, he basically sets up a three-way, kind of not three-way date, but a meeting of friends at a bar so that it's not as awkward. And during this scene, we learned that Jason worked on the team that made the racist algorithm for Meatbox. And now this is where Lizzie and Jason are kind of trying to show them their point of view from life, because one is a woman, the other is black. So they're trying to, shed some light onto his white male privileges and just, how fucked up it is that he works on that team and he just can't see eye to eye with them, or can't even admit that he might have made a mistake, and he kind of just starts to get upset and annoyed with them, so they just drop the conversation. Now, jumping forward a bit, Lizzie and Aaron end up going for a walk and talk after Lizzie finds out that she's not going to be pitching the new Meatbox logo to the CEO, Mick, and that it's going to be Jason who's doing the pitch instead. Even though it's apparent that Lizzie did a lot of work on the project, and we know this because the manager kind of makes a comment about it. I think Aaron makes a comment about it. And it's kind of just pretty much known that in the office, Lizzie is like the powerhouse of the designers. And again, like most of Aaron and Lizzie's scenes together, this one is freaking great. And I love it. Lizzie ends up teasing Aaron once she finds out that he used to make yarn sculptures. However, she turns it around into a sweet, cute moment when she starts to ask him, okay, well, what does your sculptures really mean? How should I feel looking at them? And then this prompts Aaron to go obviously onto a explanation on his artwork and what it's supposed to make you feel, and how he kind of got the inspiration to start doing this. And it kind of builds up this cute romantic moment between the two of them where they're right about to kiss, and then Aaron gets a call from everyone's favorite fucking person, Jason. Jason is calling to let Aaron know that he got the pitch for the logo to Mitch. No, he got the pitch for the logo to Mick, and he wants Aaron to kind of help him pitch it on stage with him and Mick and the manager. Now, after this phone call, the mood is kind of, has kind of sizzled out between Lizzie and Aaron, and The both of them kind of go their separate ways because Aaron has to go back to work to help Jason, and Lizzie is upset about the whole Jason thing, so she goes home for the day. Now, instantly, once they go their separate ways, Aaron gets teleported back to the headquarters of the society, and this is where we get, I think, the funniest joke in the whole movie and a callback to the Green Mile scene. So as Aaron gets teleported back to the headquarters, we start to see a montage of other society members getting teleported back while they're in the field working. And we get this one scene in specific where we have the society member with his client, who I'm assuming is like his boss or something at the company, and he goes to do the Green Mile scene and grab the man by the junk to cure his erectile dysfunction. And as soon as he goes to touch him on the family jewels, magical power turns off. So now he's just standing there holding his boss's junk in his hand awkwardly with no magic. And it gets even funnier because he like kind of looks at his hand, touches it again, looks at his hand, touches it again, and the two of them share an awkward moment of what the fuck is going on here. And then the guy is teleported back to the headquarters. I died laughing when I saw this. This is the best part. I wish we got more kind of Easter egg spoofs on other movies like this. It would have been so freaking good. Anyways, this whole scene is a head fake here because we're made to believe that Aaron is the reason that, you know, everyone's powers is getting taken away, but it's actually this other character that we have never met before. She's a one-off. Her name is Tanya. She basically cussed off her client, and that caused him to become discomforted, and that caused all of the American Society members to lose their powers. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The freaking Scooby-Doo. Anyway, yeah, so this is where we find out that if you break the rules of the society, they wipe your memories of anything that happened while you were a part of the American Society of Magical Negroes, and they just ban you from the society. Now, if this whole scene wasn't melodramatic enough for you, don't worry, because Roger's gonna come in and blow it completely out of the water. So, after this, Aaron is talking to Roger, and he asks, you know, is Tanya okay? Is she gonna be all right? She's not dead though, right? And Roger says, probably not, but she may have left here, and as soon as she walked out of her doors, she walked right into a Nazi. What? Like, that's an escalation, my guy. You think that she left the magical society, and as soon as she walked out the door, she was just slapped in the face with some white supremacy? What? Like, this movie reads like a conversation with someone who has never left Twitter and has no real life experience outside of the Twitterverse. That's literally what this is. It's a conversation with a Twitter file? A Twitter, that feels wrong. That feels dirty. Wee. Now, after the whole fiasco at the society, we get Jason and Aaron once again playing a game in the office VR room, and this room is set up completely idiotically, is the best way I can put it. Basically, you know, it's a room with VR headsets, but the room has two entrances, okay? The one entrance, both of these entrances have no doors that close. So one entrance literally leads to the top of a staircase. The other one leads to a catwalk. So I don't know who's trying to kill their employees here, but good freaking job. Now, this scene is really just meant to hammer home how shitty of a person Jason is, because it has Aaron trying to talk to Jason about how it's unfair that Lizzie didn't get to pitch the logo to Mick, and Jason can't seem to wrap his head around any perspective that isn't his own. Jason says that if he were to invite Lizzie onto the pitch with him, it would be unfair to Lizzie because she didn't earn the chance to be part of the pitch. Aaron is fucking fused by this, as is, I'm pretty sure, everyone watching, because she worked on the same damn team Jason did. So how did she not work? How did she not put it in the work to deserve it? How does she not deserve it? So Aaron's like, huh? I don't get it. How does that make sense? And Jason's whole logic is, well, if she worked hard enough, she would have got the pitch instead of me. But clearly she didn't, so that means I got the pitch because I'm the one who worked hard enough. Aaron then kind of tries to explain, give Jason a breakdown on white privilege, and, you know, kind of make him see, well, like, maybe you got that opportunity because you're a man and you're white. Like, Aaron literally says at one point, well, it could have been anyone. Anyone could have got the role. It could have been you or it could have been Lizzie. And Jason literally cannot even comprehend that being a reality. He's like, well, that it can't be that because I got it. So how could that have been, like, how could that have happened if it didn't happen? You know what I mean? Logic in this scene is like a comic book villain. It's just ridiculous. He's just one of those people who is an asshole, but not entirely on purpose. He's just a shitty person who only ever takes account, or who only ever really considers his own feelings and just can't ever take criticism or look into someone else's perspective. Unfortunately, Jason never actually learns anything here either, because he's too focused on the game that him and Aaron are playing, and as soon as they win the level, he basically cuts Aaron off and goes, like, you know, he's celebratory, and Aaron just kind of drops the conversation because he does not have the time to try to punch information into a brick wall. Now, the next big thing after this to happen is the logo pitch to Mick. Now, this is where Aaron had enough of Jason's shit. Now, before they go on stage to pitch the new logo to both the CEO, Mick, the manager, Masterson, the woman who oriented Aaron, and basically the entire Meatbox company, because it's being streamed to every office across the world, Jason said that he really needed Aaron to be here for the pitch because this logo is supposed to like kind of take people's minds off of the whole racist algorithm scandal, and because Aaron is black, you know, good PR. You got a black person on your design team to help you design the new thing. PR, right? And Jason says this to Aaron right before they go on stage, off stage, obviously. And so Aaron's kind of like, I've fucking had it with this shit. This is ridiculous. Why am I sitting here taking shit from this guy? All because if I say something to him, we're all gonna lose our magical powers. That's bullshit. So he walks on stage, kind of confronts Jason in front of everybody. Said, at first he just says, I don't like what you just said right there. And then Jason's like, huh? What? And then he kind of explains it. And Jason is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not racist. And then this is what tips Aaron the fuck off. That's when he's like, this isn't about you. He starts telling everybody about themselves. The CEO, Masterson, the company, everybody starts telling them all about themselves. And then he runs over to Lizzie, who is also standing off stage, and he teleports them away. Now, I kind of found this really funny because the whole movie, the society is worried about the white tears meter of white Americans, you know, getting too high and basically fucking up their whole society. But they never expected Aaron's white tears meter to be detrimental to their whole livelihood. Now, getting back to Aaron and Lizzie, he teleports her to the Chrysler building or the Empire State Building. I don't know which one. But yeah, he teleports her to one of these two buildings to basically tell her all about the American Society of Magical Negroes, because he knows that now that he pissed off his client, he's probably going to have his memory wiped. So he teleports her there, gives her his whole spiel about his feelings for her, the American Society of Magical Negroes, and then goes in for his freaking much anticipated kiss. But then boom, obviously he gets teleported right before they could lock lips. And my man just stays clutching them blue balls tight to his chest. Now we get our final scene with Nicole Byer's awful character. She's not an awful character, just the acting is bad. And I like Nicole Byer as a host of a TV show, but so far in movies, not loving her performance. Yeah, anyway, she tells Aaron he's gonna be banned. He's gonna wipe his memory. Does he have any last words? Now Aaron's banishment is to be handed out by Roger. And it's here that we learn that Aaron's actions might have actually changed the power dynamics of the American Society of Magical Negroes, because when Roger goes to tap Aaron's forehead and erase his memories and take his powers away, doesn't work. And then we get another montage of the same society members we got before with their clients, and now instead of sucking them off like a push pop, they're actually giving them legit what's the word? Critical feedback. They're actually giving them legit critical feedback, and that is actually now what's powering the American Society of Magical Negroes, which leads me again to ask, what the fuck is this magical power, and how does it work if one person can just change the whole power structure of it? Also, how is Aaron the one to change the whole power structure of it? The other lady cussed off her boss, and nothing happened, but he cusses off a whole freaking stream full of white people. And maybe that's it. Maybe you got to get enough white people, you know, and passionated about your cause, and that changes it. I don't freaking know. This movie is really bad anyway, so it doesn't matter. And since Aaron doesn't get his memory wiped, he remembers that he left Lizzie on the other side of the freaking country. And so he checks his phone for obviously messages and stuff, and he's got a bunch of them from Lizzie, freaking out about how she just teleported from LA to freaking New York in the span of 1 second. And now she's kind of pissed because she has to find a way back home to LA. And so while he's checking his phone, he's running down the street, checking his messages, whatever, doing the whole movie trope. And he ends up meeting her exactly as she gets out of an Uber, and the two of them finally kiss. Let's fucking get it, all right? And then they walk off into the sunset down the street, and Aaron starts saying, well, I was part of society, but, I quit. And then Lizzie jokes back, talking about, I'm actually part of a magical society, and, I was gonna quit too. That's so funny. And that, folks, is the end of the American Society of Magical Negroes. Or so you may believe, because actually after this, we get another little end credit scene with Lizzie walking into a hair salon, pulling out a prop ring that says "So Swag" in pink glittery letter. This was seen earlier on in the movie when Lizzie's purse dropped and it fell out of her bag, and Aaron kind of teased her for it, and she said, "Oh, it's just a gift that my friend gave me." But she pulls out this ring in the hair salon, and boom, voila, it's revealed that she actually is part of a magical society for magical girlfriends and wives who help support men. And you know what? That would have actually made a much better movie than whatever the hell we got here. Like in that case, it would make sense why Lizzie wouldn't be able to date Aaron because he's her client. So that crosses boundaries right there. But then there's also the trust aspect of she was using her magic to basically manipulate the relationship and help him, succeed or whatever. And so after Aaron finds out that she has magical powers, it would lead to a trust issue where Aaron doesn't know what was real and what wasn't, and if she actually cares for him or if it's all just part of her job. And also, the concept of magical girlfriends and wives perfectly just aligns with what someone, obviously, no one's gonna believe that's real, but it's something that people would actually kind of be like, yeah, I could imagine that being real, because girlfriends and wives already kind of have magical powers. Like, tell me how girlfriends and wives can just instantly find the thing you're looking for, even if you were looking in the same spot they were just looking. That's magical right there, okay? But yeah, on a more serious note for the movie, it would also be a social message to treat the women in your lives better and appreciate them more, because they do a lot of shit behind the scenes. Like every person who dates women has either had a girlfriend or wife or will have a girlfriend or wife, and everybody almost basically has a mother who is somebody else's girlfriend or wife. And so we all kind of have a collective understanding of the important role that girlfriends and wives play in family structures. Nobody in life has a black friend who just uses their blackness to make their life infinitely better in magical ways. Some people don't even have black friends. So this whole movie that we got is flawed from the beginning because it's completely unrelatable, unrealistic, and highly tone deaf. It took me a while to also come up with that word. I know the word tone deaf, but it took me a while to put the word to what this movie was, because I was trying to, like, it was cringy and it was awkward, but that's not the biggest flaw of this movie. It's that it's tone deaf. It spends the whole movie trying to get this serious social message out about the racism in America and the overall, oppressive systems in place in a lot of Western countries in general for black people. But the movie is just so uh comical in its execution of every single freaking thing. Roger being one of the most horrid examples of it. Like, how do you expect me to take your movie seriously when one of your main supporting actors literally says, oh, that person lost their powers. Oh, they might walk into a Nazi now. Like, this was such a missed opportunity to have this really fun, whimsical world where black people just have powers, not because they have to keep white people happy, not to keep them safe from white people. Like, that isn't the objective of the powers, but that is a bonus of them. Kind of like a Harry Potter scenario, like, you just have powers and like you use those powers and they do help you stay safer in America, but they're not the white people aren't the fuel for your power. You know what I mean? Like that kind of undermines your whole message of whatever the hell the message actually was, because I'm not really sure what it was. It's obviously supposed to empower black people, but it doesn't feel like it did. It kind of just feels like a stupid one-off joke that you might make in a group of your close friends, but other than that, it shouldn't go into a whole freaking feature-length film that got fucking distributed in theaters and worldwide. Fucking ridiculous. Like, how the hell am I supposed to take your movie about white privilege and racism serious when you have Nicole Byer delivering lines like she's still on Nailed It, and your supporting actor delivering melodramatic fucking dialogue like he's a political pundit on Twitter? I'm also kind of wondering if they expected this movie to do good enough to have a sequel. Because why would they have this so swag scene at the end? Like, I get it's a nice little twist, but if you're trying to set up for a sequel or something or a prequel, who the hell thought this movie was making any money to be greenlit for a sequel? Anyways, y'all, that was the American Society of Magical Negroes. Don't watch it. It's an awful movie. Take my word for it. If you do have to watch it as maybe like a punishment, or maybe you just want to have like a drinking game to see how many times y'all can take shots from cringe, or how many times you say the word Negro or whatever. If you have to watch it, don't pay for it. Pirate it. I support pirating in this instance. Or I think it's on Prime Video. Or if you have Amazon Prime already, just pop that on, I guess, if you really want to watch it. But don't do it. Don't subject yourself to the terrors. Just live vicariously through me. I've done it for you. I've watched it, done, did. I got you covered. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I don't like outros, so I will catch you guys later.